Well, welcome everybody to the first in a new series of interviews. And tonight we've got Andrew Luke, part of Tom and Andrew Luke partnership. One day I will get your dad on here.
Yeah.
We must do it. Um, yeah, so welcome. And I know we chat sort of occasionally, but a lot of people might not um, know much about you other than Facebook, which I know you're really active on, which is great. Um, so I suppose first question, how's the breeding going for 2025?
Yeah, it's going really well. I paired up early. So my first round, the young ones all had last year's rings on.
Yeah,
But that's not a moan. It's I did it on purpose because the birds were in condition. So I
yeah.
paired them up. And then the second round, I ended up with more than the first round, which is good. And they've all got this year's rings on. But yeah, so far it's going really well. The best birds are breeding. There's a few messing about,
Yeah.
a few, laying one egg, blah blah blah. But it's Budgies, isn't it?
It
It's
it'd be
the
too easy.
majority. The majority are doing well. So yeah,
Yeah, cool. And I
yeah,
suppose from my point, I know you and your dad have done things your way for so long now. Um, you sort of set yourself in a groove, but have you made any changes to anything? Tweaked anything?
um, I guess my feeding regime is completely different than Dad's.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
And to be honest, it has been for a year or two now.
Right.
Um, and it's just for various, I guess, yeah, a couple of different reasons. I tend to try out different products, with the view that I have, say a third of the stud here, a quarter of the stud here.
Yeah.
So if it's a disaster, it's a disaster on a quarter of the birds, if that
Yeah.
makes sense,
Yeah.
rather than rolling it out across two lots.
Yeah.
Um, but generally, like the medication regime's the same. So when I'm treating for trike, Dad's treating for trike at the same time.
What
Birds are
do
getting
you,
moved.
like I say, what do you use for that?
So we use what's it called, Ronnie Dissolve,
Oh,
20%, I
Ron,
think.
right, yeah, Ron dissolve, and that something.
Yeah, and we treat them for 15 days at a time.
Yeah, because I know there's
Um,
there's talk about there being a bit of a resistance to these drugs now, isn't there?
mm,
I found ivermectin was becoming less and less effective. So I've bitten the bullet and got some of that Exalt, which looks like it's really does what it says on the tin, to be honest, so far.
yeah,
So
I think speaking to people like Kevin Eatwell is essential for this
oh,
treating things.
definitely.
Purely because in the past, I think you follow the label of a product that's designed for a pigeon,
Yeah,
and then you think, well, has it done it? Has it not? And then 3 months later, you've got the same problem again. So
yeah.
you've kind of knocked it back, but you haven't knocked it on the head, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think
But
I mean Kev's always said I'm in a quite a good position now because I'm sort of breeding enough birds different to each other that I can keep them within themselves. So I
mm,
mean I haven't had to treat for much for a very long time.
yeah,
Um, just keeping the red mite and everything at bay. But as soon as I bring something in, I'll treat them and usually treat all mine. I usually do the babies like once a year. So once they're weaned off and they're in a batch, then
yeah,
I'll give them um Rondizolve or something if I think there's a need. And the last couple of years there hasn't been. So,
yeah.
but
Well,
yeah,
we
so
do it every 3 to 4 months, just as a routine thing now.
yeah, I used to,
Um,
but I found when I was using what was the one we were using for a while? Um,
was it Ronnie Vet, wasn't it?
Ron,
Was it
Ron,
Ronnie Vet? Yeah,
Ronivet S.
yeah.
I found that I could almost tell when the 3 months were coming because the
Mm,
birds seemed to crash and really crash quite badly. And then, but they weren't sick as such. They weren't vomiting or anything. And then I'd give them this stuff and they would perk up. So one year I just literally bit the bullet, stopped using it, and within a month or two they were back. It was almost like
mm.
they'd gone cold turkey on it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we can overdo it, but I think it's not the case of no, say we overdo it. I don't think we overdo it. I think it's a case we underdo it too often.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, if I was
Um,
bringing, as soon as, I mean, like when I bought my birds in from the Adams and that, and I know they're a good stud, they're clean and everything, but I did then treat everything,
yeah,
because that new bird syndrome coming in and everything. So, because I like to bring mine in, treat them, and then make sure they fly for 30 or sort of 3 months within the flock,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
I know. Yeah, yeah. Rather
yeah.
than breeding off them straight away.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah,
mean, if I have to, but I'd rather not. So,
yeah. To be
um,
honest, we rarely bring birds in, so we haven't even got an outcross in the
no,
aviary at all between the two of our studs
no,
at the moment. So everything's got our ring on it.
yeah. So, what chick stands out for you at the moment then that you've bred?
Probably a cinnamon grey in the first this year's rings first round.
Right. Yeah.
Cinnamon grey cock, some spangles. In fact, everything's cinnamon this year. I'm going through a cinnamon phase
Yeah.
of purely because the last couple of years, the best birds we've been breeding have been cinnamons.
Yeah.
So we've been
Yeah.
obviously as a result, you keep more cinnamons because they're the best ones, and then they
That's right.
obviously breed more cinnamons. But to be honest, I'm not, we're not worried about it. We've got enough normals, we've got enough spangles and things to dip back into.
Yeah.
But yeah, so colour and variety doesn't really, we don't pay too much attention to it.
No, I'm exactly the same. All I'm really interested in is progression. I want
Mm,
to be breeding from the best birds. Um, I
yeah,
do try and avoid cinnamon to spangles if I can, but invariably, I've actually bred my one of my best birds this year is a cinnamon, um, from a normal to a cinnamon spangle hen.
yeah,
So I do it, and it has been done, but this year is the first time I've done double factor spangles um, properly. Anyway, I did
yeah,
have a dabble a year or so ago, but it didn't really work. But some of my
yeah.
best birds are spangles now, so I thought, well, see what we can do. You know.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't actually mind cinnamon spangles. I actually prefer them myself than the normal spangles. But
Yeah.
obviously the judges don't, so I've got to bear that in mind. Um, so yeah, so I've got one of our best birds at the moment is a normal spangled grey cock. Stock bird wise, he's a super bird for stock birds, showing rubbish.
Yeah.
But he's popping out cinnamon spangles all over the place.
Yeah.
Purely because I keep pairing him to cinnamons because he's a bit over the top rough. So
Yeah.
our cinnamon line is a lot smoother, tighter body feather.
Yeah. Pull them
So
back a bit, Paul.
yeah, so because of that, I'm trying to pull him back. As a result, they're all a lot of cinnamon spangles are coming out and the odd normal, but
Yeah.
mainly
Yeah.
cinnamons. But next year they'll be a different colour, so
Yeah.
yeah, we don't mind. We don't mind.
No. I was going to say we could have a quick look at your Facebook page if that's all right, and maybe just have a chat about some of the birds on there.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Has that popped up for you?
yeah. I can see you. I can see it now. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so I know, yeah, because I think this was your last post, wasn't it? Which was the cinnamon, and then did he come off of that one?
So they're brothers.
Ah, right. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that the cinnamon grey. Oh, whenever the last club show was,
Yeah.
this was second best champion young bird. The cinnamon grey was.
Ah, right. What was
Um,
what beat it?
The spangle of McGovern's, a super grey spangle cock.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. I
Yes.
mean,
So then,
like I say, I've always said you know a Tom and Andrew Luke bird as soon as you walk into the show hall. There is it's got a distinctive look, hasn't it,
hmm,
with your birds?
some of them have. So that yeah,
Yeah,
the brothers far. I think the grey green's far better than the cinnamon personally, but he's more of a rougher, either you like him or you don't kind of bird.
yeah.
He's a bit on the kind of stock bird rather than show bird.
Have you tried to show him at all?
Well, yeah, he's won several best in shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's either judges love him or judges kind of think he's maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but that's that's and the good thing about judging is everyone's got a different opinion, haven't they? So it's
Oh,
you know
that's exactly it. Yeah, I'm thinking when I rejoin next year, I wouldn't mind sort of starting to look at doing the judging side of things. I nearly went for it before I left last time. So yeah.
yeah.
So this was a pair that you'd put together.
Yeah,
Um,
they're up on the well, they're in a cage together and they're tolerating each other at the moment.
right.
So I think is probably later on tonight. I'll probably whip the hen out
Yeah.
and then pull her back in first thing in the morning.
Right. Try and make him a bit keener.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a bit scared of her at the minute. Yeah, like I say, they when she flies to him, he flies away, but then he'll fly back 5 minutes later. So he's when they're like that, they're not. Yeah, they're not
They're
together
not.
properly.
Yeah, they're not bonded, are they?
Yeah.
No.
So she's that hen, the cinnamon hen, was full sister to to the great previous grey green cock.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So they were bred here in 23. Yeah, 23. They had 23 rings on them.
Okay.
And then the cinnamon grey it's with now is a 24 bird. Um, yeah, off the other cinnamon grey cock in the video.
Yeah. Yeah. Still popping the lace wings out.
Yeah, to be honest, I've got three lacewing hens that I bred in the first round, and this is what's on the screen now is one of them. This hen's massive, so it's the biggest bodied lacewing hen we've ever bred.
Wow.
And she's off a lacewing yellow paired to a yellow face grey hen. And I was it's a massive hen, and I don't want to pair lacewings to yellow faces because I actually hate the yellow face lacewings, the colours of
Yeah.
them. But the hen is a massive hen and a bit rough and ugly, and she wouldn't go with the cocks I wanted her to. So I threw her back in the flight, and she went with this nice lacewing yellow. So I thought I'll get her going and see what happens. So is what I did. I got a first round off them, and then as the chicks were about I don't know 2.5 weeks old, I took the cock out, left the hen rearing them, and then I took the chicks away and then put a different cock in. So now she's with a cinnamon cock.
All right.
I think she was just fussy while she probably wasn't in condition.
No,
Um,
bought us almost brought her into condition.
yeah, so I think letting her find her own mate in the flight just kind of sorted her out, and then now she's breeding
Yeah.
um, with the bird I wanted her to. That's a baby. That's like Dad's. So Dad sent me this video the other day.
Nice.
So it's a cinnamon hen. It's off a cinnamon grey cock and a cinnamon grey green hen paired together. Which go back to the line we were talking about a minute ago. The grey green and the cinnamon, it's the
Yeah.
same family. But yeah, it's going to be a super bird. It's going to have a big
Yeah.
head on it. Hopefully the body feather won't go much further than where it is now. Hopefully,
No.
when it molts, it'll tighten up a bit. Hopefully.
Yeah. End up with a skirt otherwise, won't it?
Yeah, yeah. That's a baby that's on the floor at the moment. That will come away in a couple of days, and that's a grey green cock I bred last year. So I've got a super sky blue hen, a massive thing it is, but it doesn't grow a tail, and that's the brother to this grey green. Sorry, sister to this grey green. So he fills eggs for fun, and then he was paired to an Oaklean cinnamon blue, and he bred the cinnamon grey green.
Yeah. Nice.
So
I'm
that'd be
just.
nice. And it's a lot tighter feather.
Yeah. I'm just going to click on the video, see if it will. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Is that
Yeah, so that was
mum?
the first one out at the back. No, that's a foster pair. It's in a
Oh,
foster
right.
under a foster pair. Yeah, and then there's a well, it's popped out of the box now. There's a better grey green, normal grey brother to them,
Yeah.
which I think is far better than the cinnamon. It's slightly rougher, but it's a bigger and bigger head on it. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah,
See what else we got. Oh, Mr. Beetroot.
That's a yeah, it's a colt. That's a dad's. That's a baby cock. Not really old enough to breed, but he'll yeah, he'll get used soon.
Yeah,
Because he's an active bird. So we're at dad's. He's got a big one of the ostringer big trolley cages in the middle of his aviary, and then
yeah,
next to it he's got one of the the double ones.
yeah,
So all the cockbirds at the moment that are old enough to or thinking about being bred off are in that big mobile flight, and then the hens that are going to get used next are in the flight next to them.
yeah.
So you
I
can
do something
see,
similar.
yeah, see all the cocks that are on the wire and the hens that are on the wire. They're coming into
Yeah,
condition, so you can
yeah,
you can pick birds out easier like that than keeping them very separate.
yeah.
So
That's right.
dad keeps his birds separate. I keep my birds mixed all the time, so I never separate them apart from about a week before I pair up.
Yeah, that's what I do. I must admit. And if I've
And
got a
mine's a space thing more than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose mine is as well to a certain degree. But yeah, I mean, I even if I've got a couple of cages that are going to come vacant soon, so probably the weekend I'll catch up some of the cocks that are looking fit, move them and leave the hens, and try and just break any bonds really. So
Mm.
yeah, one more look. Oh, that was 2 years ago.
Yes, that's a yeah, good cinnamon we bred a few years ago. So that's a baby cinnamon yellow face from last year. Baby
Yeah,
cockbird. He's a massive thing, and he's got a brother that's a cinnamon grey green. That's a massive thing as well.
yeah.
But they've got chicks. He's got chicks now. So he's got his third chick today, third chick this morning.
Ah,
Um, so yeah, he's I'm happy, and he's with a cinnamon grey hen that's off my best grey cock.
oh, excellent.
So people say don't pair cinnamon to cinnamon, but we do it all the time. To be honest,
Oh, yeah. I'm.
we're not.
I've
It's more of a difference in feather rather than
it,
that I'm
it
looking
is.
for rather than variety.
The trouble is that a lot of the cinnamons these days are not the cinnamons of old, are they? Where they have,
No,
I mean,
this
yours
bird's got
are,
like
but
this bird is this cock's oozing feather.
yeah,
So it's gone to a cinnamon hen with less feather, but it could have gone to a normal hen with less feather.
yeah,
It's the feather I'm interested in, not the variety, really, I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Excellent. We'll come out of there for a minute. Let me just minimize that. Yeah, oh, it's good. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think I've always wanted to try some of these videos. I know I help a lot of people on Facebook, as you probably know.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
the one thing they don't understand is how we pair. And I
yeah,
say we,
yeah,
the breeders that
yeah,
put these
yeah,
amazing birds up, you
yeah.
know, um, and sometimes I'll show them a pair, like the pair that bred Mr. Big Sky Blue, um, that is filling eggs for fun this year, which is just amazed me. Um,
Mm.
you look at the pair that bred that, and it's a pair that perhaps you wouldn't put together normally,
Mm.
and it's just, and I then I sort of go back to the grandparents of the sky, their parents, and they
Yeah.
go, oh yeah, okay, so it jumped a generation on one side, and you know, um, but yeah, so understanding feather and these types of features is something that I, want to definitely move forward with on my videos and try and
Mm.
because
I, th-
I don't always explain it very well. you
yeah,
know,
but I think it's hard to explain in videos and on Facebook. I think you really need to go to a breeder's aviary,
yeah,
and
that's
and
it.
when they're breeding, and I know it's difficult when we're breeding, but like as soon as a pair's got chicks or they've got no eggs, I'm quite happy to open a nest box up for them and have people looking at,
Yeah,
and then see why have I put that hen with that cock, blah blah blah. And sometimes you show them why you're doing it, and then they're like, oh, I don't get it. But then you say, there's the granddad, there's the mother to that one. That's why I'm
yeah,
doing. I'm actually pairing those two up, not these
yeah,
two.
yeah. That's
Um,
right.
so yeah, I think you need, and the same with when you say about rough feather, soft feather, and all this. You have to have the bird almost in your hand to kind of
Yeah, and you
show
almost need a
that to
feather,
people.
don't you? You
Yeah,
almost need a
yeah,
feather
yeah.
and just lay them side by side. I did it one year. I used to keep record cards for every single bird. And I used to take a spot feather and a chest feather and sellotape it to
Yeah.
the what's name. But whether it did me any good, I don't know. But I don't do it anymore. But yeah, so brilliant. Okay, so club show.
Yeah,
You're going?
definitely. Well, for us, it's in the perfect location. It's like half an hour down the road.
Oh right, yes, yeah, of course it
Yeah,
is. Yeah, for
So
Dad, yeah,
Blackpool is really close for Dad. Well, I say for us, Dad,
yeah,
it's
for
really
Dad,
close for
yeah,
Dad. Which will be good because normally when it's at Doncaster, I go up to Dad's, then we go to Doncaster, then we try and get back from the show as quickly as possible, then sort out the birds at Dad's. But obviously
yeah,
that's like an hour and a half from Doncaster. So that weekend we spend a lot of time in the car going to and from. So it'd be quite nice not to once I get there, not to be able to not need to drive very far.
yeah, yeah,
But
and
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it because I was once a show disappears for a year, it's very difficult to bring back, isn't it?
yeah,
So I'm really chuffed that the BS have managed to, with a lot of sponsorship and that kind of thing, but they have pulled this one out of the bag, and
yeah,
yeah, I think it's going to be a brilliant event. Actually, I'm really, really looking forward to it.
yeah. You just need to get people there as well. Not just necessarily exhibitors, which will be amazing if we can, but
Mm.
you know, people buying on the stalls and what's the name. So
Yeah, but they've got four absolutely brilliant speakers, haven't they?
yeah,
So
yeah.
for especially beginners, but even the best champions, the speakers there for everyone.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely.
so I think even if you're not showing, it's be a brilliant weekend to be involved
Yeah,
in and see all this happening. And but I actually think people should be show. If you can show. It's early enough in the year that late enough in the year, June, that we should have birds available.
that's right. That's right.
To show they'll be old. The first round should be old enough, but there's that double year class anyway, isn't there, for babies?
Oh,
You
right.
know,
Have
the,
they done that this
yeah.
year? Have
I
they?
I think yeah, I think if my memory is right, that they're doing so it'd be 24 birds and 25 birds in the same class.
Right.
Which is good because it means that if you've I guess if you've paired up kind of for the rings and you've had a bad start, hopefully you'll still have some of your 24 babies that will be good
Yeah,
enough to show and compete. Um, and an exceptional baby is going to beat them, isn't it? So it's going to
yeah,
be I think it's going to be interesting, and maybe because it's moved, more people might want to show at it because it's different. It'd be a different vibe than Doncaster.
yeah. That's right.
Um, I actually think it'd be more budgie focused, but also more family stuff to do. Because once you get to Doncaster, there's just a leisure centre, isn't there? Really.
Yeah.
Whereas in Blackpool, there's so much for family and stuff to do. Um, 'Cause it's entertaining the other half of the weekend, isn't it? Not necessarily yourself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
All the kids and that kind of thing. So it's I think Blackpool's going to be the ideal location for that.
yeah. And do you think that should be there long term, or do you think it would be good to move it around a little bit?
I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because in an ideal world, you move it every year, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's not ideal though, is it?
But the logistics of that, and also it's getting volunteers, isn't it, to set the show, staging up and all that, and it always tends to be left with the same few people.
And that's the problem. That
Um,
the hobby is
yeah,
shrinking, isn't it? Let's
yeah. So
face
it's
it.
okay to say, oh yeah, I live in Leighton Buzzard. Oh, let's have it in Leighton Buzzard. But in reality, it's many people in Leighton Buzzard who would help and set the show up or that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
it's fine to say it, but maybe I don't know. Maybe clubs could approach the BS and say, in 3 years' time or 2 years' time, we'll have it here, and we've got this number of people. We're happy to get involved with it.
yeah. Because
Um,
I think they're borrowing staging as well, aren't they? So it's not as if they've got a staging to move around now either.
no, but I guess the cost of storing all that staging was just
Oh, it's ridiculous.
ridiculous,
Yeah,
wasn't it? When we had so much staging, we're never going to see the 3,000 or 4,000 birds benched again. It's
no.
unlikely. So it makes more sense to to borrow it off other clubs that are in the
Yeah.
area. Yeah, I think it makes more. You know, I know people were saying, "Oh, we shouldn't be selling this off," but at the time, it was the right thing to do. So, you know, when you've got no money, you shouldn't be paying rent to store things. It
No,
doesn't make
no,
sense at
that's
all.
right. That's right.
And there's enough clubs near Blackpool to get staging from. You know, if you look around the country, there's enough clubs all over to get staging from, really, isn't there? So
Yeah.
it's not a
Yeah.
big thing.
No, that's right.
Um,
I mean, once you've got maybe two clubs worth of staging, you've probably got
mm,
more than enough, you know, to
yeah,
do what you need to do.
I just hope members really get behind it. The June event and get there and show or go. You know,
Yeah.
it'd be a really good weekend. You meet up with all your friends, new people. I'm sure there'll be lots of people from abroad coming over for it.
Yeah.
Um, and hopefully the budgies will be at at a really high level. The winning birds should be at a really high level. If the last few club shows are anything to go by, the birds are going to be top notch birds that are going to win it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's the place to
which is
see.
brilliant.
It's the place to see the top birds in the country, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
but
or that it
also
should be.
I think if even if you know, and there's not many studs out there with the bird that's going to win it because only
No.
one person can win it, and it needs to be the bird needs to be fit and in condition at the time, and there's a lot of luck involved in getting your bird fit at the time or being fit.
Yeah.
Um, but I think last year there was a lot of really good birds at the shows, not necessarily in good condition, but maybe June they might be.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you look at the Welsh show, there's some absolutely amazing birds there. There was, so many best in show birds there that have been and birds that have been winning CCs week in and week out that weren't necessarily in condition and didn't get a look in, which is correct for the
Yeah.
judges. And those birds might come June. You could almost the winner was a super grey green, but you could almost like rejudge the show again in that similar show in June and come up with a completely different result. But
Yeah.
still,
Yeah. That's
have a
right.
super, but still have a super bird win it.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
but I think that's really exciting. Is that there's some super birds out there at the moment being shown.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time for the hobby, to be honest, show wise. Maybe there's less birds on the shows when we all moan about numbers, but ultimately you'd rather beat three or four super birds than 100 lesser birds, wouldn't you? So
Yeah.
it's
That's right. That's right.
you
Yeah.
go there to see who's winning and people's birds and that kind of thing, and potentially you look at show results and that kind of thing to think, well, what do our birds need? Which breeders have got those features? And
Yeah.
and when you see a lot of top level birds from different breeders at one show, it's just easier, isn't it, for you to compare birds
Yeah.
visually next to each other?
And
Um,
like you say, it's that opportunity to make contact with those people as well, rather than just across a messenger or something on
yeah,
Facebook.
it's completely different than Facebook, and to be honest, it took me a while to realize that because it was. I'm on Facebook quite a lot, and I see a lot of pictures of birds, and I think, "Wow, that's a good bird."
Yeah.
In my head I make mental notes of certain breeders have this bird and that bird, and then you go to a show and I'm like, oh, is that it? Do you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, I'm sure that bird, that guy had a Lutino and he had a grey green, and then you're looking around for the names of the birds and the thing, and you're thinking, well, the pictures don't necessarily tell the full story.
No, that's right.
Um,
That's right.
so it's completely different seeing a bird in because a picture is like a 1 second time shot of that bird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you got it blowing at the right angle, it looks a super bird, but it could have no tail, it could have no wings,
Yeah.
massive cysts on its back. You've no idea.
No. And I think that's why I think sometimes when people try and do online shows and things, it's a little bit more problematic, isn't it? As I noticed that I think was it the Irish boys the other day they did an online show, but they had to do videos and see the whole bird and that, and I think that
Yeah,
worked quite well for them. Um,
yeah. I think if things get bad and shows get cancelled because of bird flu or anything like that, I guess having some form of show is better than having nothing.
yeah,
And it gives people the opportunity to show the birds, and also I guess there's no expense to it because you're just making a video in your own bird room. Like, you've got a date, you've got to have it submitted by, but you've got time to prepare the birds, or you know what I mean, and you don't have to travel in your car to get anywhere.
That's
Wait,
right.
it's not a date, it's not a full day out, is it? It's a
No,
10 minutes,
no, that's
10 minutes
right.
for your video. So it might might suit people that wouldn't normally show. Potentially might be one way of getting those people to show.
Yeah, I know I took part in one when the birds they ran, I don't know, was it mid Essex or something on the well, COVID and that was going.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but that had to, I mean, I had to have two devices running, one on the bird, and it wasn't easy, but it was good fun. It was good fun, you
yeah.
know.
Well, the exhibition budgie forum used to do them.
Oh, right.
Like, yeah, so there used to be so it'd be like, greys this week,
Yeah,
and then and everyone would submit against each other. But then you would when you submitted, you'd put down your status, and then they kind of give the overall winner. But the judge would then say, number five's the winner because it's got the biggest head, blah blah
yeah,
blah. Number, that came second because actually it would have beaten that, but it's got no spots, or do you know what I
yeah,
mean, or that kind of thing. But that was, it was an online show, but it was really good, I guess, for especially for those new people starting, because you could look at a lineup of 10 birds next to each other with those judges' comments, and you could keep going backwards and forwards
yeah,
on them.
yeah.
And they always got quite good judges to do it.
Uh,
So that was, I guess that was the first online shows as such that I saw and
yeah,
participated in.
uh,
Um,
yeah. Well, Teams are telling me we're running out of no, or Zoom rather.
so
Yeah, it's telling me we're running out of time. So yeah, but that's been brilliant. It's good. It's good to catch up with everybody or people, and put some information out there for everyone. And yeah, so good luck at the show.
yeah, well, hopefully everyone will be there in June and support the BS and get things moving. Show season. I think it's the first. Is it the first show of the season? It probably is, isn't it?
Um,
Or there might be.
yeah,
I guess it's
I,
like first weekend in June, I think, isn't it?
yeah, because I'm June. Yeah, because Dorset's normally my first show, which is July. So yeah, it must be one of the first shows in the season.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
yeah, it should be good to see, because people won't have, I mean, they won't have seen those. Normally the club show, you'll have a lot of the birds you're expecting to be there will have been out, week in, week out, coming up to it.
it's almost
You know,
fresh from the perch,
from
isn't it?
from June to September. And I guess normally everyone knows, oh, so and so will have a grey green there, and he'll have a yellow face, and he won with a spangle. So
Yeah,
June there'll be that kind of a, there'll be the best, the birds you think of that won the season just gone, but there'll be these babies that have just been bred this year that no one would really have seen,
yeah.
or that they'll have seen the odd picture on Facebook or whatever as a bar head or whatever, but they won't know what the bird actually looks like.
No, that's quite
But
true.
so it could be
Yeah,
quite, someone completely new who's never won, anything before could have
yeah.
bred the best bird, which would be brilliant.
Amazing. That'd be amazing,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
as long as a super bird in condition wins, then it's a win-win for the hobby.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much because we are close to the wire now. So, um, brilliant. Thanks very much, Andrew, and we'll speak soon, I'm sure.
Yep, and good luck for the rest of your season, Neil.
Thank you.